If you've been itching for a vacation, you're not alone. Summer holiday travel has surged to levels not seen since before the COVID-19 pandemic. The Consumer Price Index, which is the benchmark measure of inflation, rose 0.9% in June, the largest one-month increase since 2008. Vacation-related expenses weren't spared. Prices increased for everything from new cameras and swimsuits to rental cars and hotel rooms.
We're just have this kind of collective need to get out and about.
Experts say price increases reflect an economy on the upswing from pandemic lows. But higher demand has made some vacation essentials harder to come by. Here's why that is, and some strategies to help avoid the sticker shock. As lockdowns have eased, summer holiday travel has surged both in the air and on the ground. AAA says more than 47 million people traveled over the 4th of July holiday weekend, which is 40% more than last year. But U.S. air travel is still recovering after the pandemic drove it to a virtual standstill. Much of the recovery lag has to do with the slow return of business travel. However, airlines prepared for an almost normal schedule of flights this summer as leisure travel demand returned, contributing to airfare increasing nearly 25% since last year. If you're looking for cheaper airfare, WSJ travel editor Deborah Dunn suggests switching up when you fly.
The key to finding less expensive airfare is to be really flexible. Not just traveling on a weekend or traveling from a Saturday to Sunday, but I would look at the price difference if you fly on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
But once you're all booked and touched down at your destination, you still may hit those higher prices. Vehicle rental prices are up over 87% from a year ago. The simple reason is that rental companies have less cars. Smaller rental fleets had one big issue. Summer demand surged over 300% in some cities, according to Kayak. This has led some travelers being turned away at the rental counter because there aren't enough cars on the lot. And with the semiconductor shortage continuing to hamper new car production, some analysts think it will be well into 2022 before fleet supplies are enough to meet demand.
Book months and months ahead. And I wouldn't book a non-refundable reservation. The other possibility is to look at picking up a car in town rather than in the airport. You'll have to take an Uber from the airport, but it's still day-to-day, probably a better deal.
Those with their own set of wheels could count themselves lucky if they weren't facing the steepest gasoline prices in nearly 7 years, as gas shortages have plagued many regions. The Colonial Pipeline cyber attack in May led to East Coast shortages right before the summer season, and some regions of the country have had a hard time restocking gas stations because of a lack of truck drivers, many of whom had been laid off during the pandemic, according to analysts. And the high prices aren't restricted to travel expenses. Men's and women's swimwear prices were up 1.4% and 5.5% respectively, which analysts attribute to pent-up vacation demand. Demand outpacing supply has hit other vacation essentials as well, like cameras, which have risen in price by almost 6%. And depending on where your head hits the pillow, you could be paying more for accommodations. Room rates have recovered to pre-pandemic levels. But the slow return of business travel has kept occupancy rates slightly lower than before the pandemic, according to analysts. And while demand may be high in traditional destinations like Florida and Hawaii, experts say price increases are being driven by vacationers booking bigger accommodations that may be off the beaten path. Travelers are opting for larger hotel suites or entire rental houses to accommodate families vacationing together. And according to AirDNA, which tracks short-term rental prices of Airbnb and Vrbo, demand in small cities and rural locations has surged over 51% since 2019. The current vacation season is being defined by an economy in recovery and a population desperate for some R&R, even if it puts a dent in their wallets.
Be flexible about where you're going to go, when you're going to go, how long you're going to stay. Flexibility, I think, is the operative word this summer. The last thing you want to be is stressed out on vacation.
But if prices continue to rise, a stress-free vacation may be harder to come by.